All right, hello everyone. How are you today? This is Gary Varner, and this is Renegade Religion. All right, well, this is kind of interesting. I've lost most of my voice. I don't know if you can tell it over the radio or not, but go figure. In week 3, I barely have any voice at all. So we're just gonna have to play this by ear, and you'll have to be a little patient with me. There I go again. My voice just cracked. That's hilarious. So I'm going to try to get through this all the same, though. Last week, we talked a little bit about Hitler and his religious ideology, and we mentioned, not in a lot of detail, certainly not a lot of detail at all, but we mentioned that Hitler, a major force of why he did what he did, in terms of the Holocaust and the persecution of the Jews, was social Darwinism. Now, we talked about how he was really a pantheist and his religion wasn't necessarily atheistic or anything of that nature, but it certainly was kind of not really pagan, but foreign, and his version of God wasn't a version of God that anybody would really understand. But the thing that we kind of dodged was his relationship with social Darwinism, and I wanted to intentionally not talk about that a whole lot because I wanted to go not in a great amount of detail this week, but in a little more detail about Darwinism this week. Darwinism and evolution is kind of my pet project, if you will. It's my thing that I've grown up studying ever since I've grown up studying it ever since I was a little kid. I could not stand it. And it wasn't necessarily because I felt like it threatened the Bible. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people believe that there's no way that evolution could be compatible with a six-day creation, and it's certainly an understandable sentiment. I was a literalist back then too, but I don't think that was necessarily what intimidated me in the beginning. There was just something about it that bothered me on a deep level. I guess the best way to demonstrate how I feel about evolution and why it bugged me when I was a little kid before I really understood the implications of what role evolution would have with the Bible and theology is to just kind of tell a story, what it really was. When I was young, I lived in a little town in Missouri, and the first thing they told us, we would go to this place called Silver Dollar City. I'm sure many people listening are familiar with Silver Dollar City. It's in Branson, Missouri. It's kind of a, I don't want to say redneck theme park because that sounds a little condescending, but that's more or less what it is. It's a theme park that's southern-oriented or country-oriented, and there's a cave in Silver Dollar City. There's this cave that they always send little kids on tours, and that's where we would go just about every year, if not more than once a year. I mean, we were in that stinking cave all the time. And one of the things they always told us in this cave was that it took millions and millions and millions of years for these stalactites and stalagmites to form in these caves. Now, the stalactites are the ones that, hang tight to the ceiling, and the stalagmites are the ones that kind of cling to the floor and are mighty. I don't remember the exact rhetoric or the saying that they used to help us remember that. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but that's the gist of it. The stalactites go on top, stalagmites go on bottom, and they'd always tell us that it took millions and millions of years to form these things, and they would always say, don't touch those things, don't touch the stalactites and the stalagmites. They'll rot and we'll never get them again, and it's just going to be horrible if you touch them. Don't touch them, and it always bothered me. It never sat right with me, for reasons I don't think I quite understood, but it was just a gut thing. But the other part of it too was whenever we would go to get groceries every weekend, there was this particular bridge. We would drive to Rogers, Arkansas, and I think it's in Gateway. There's this bridge, and this bridge has stalactites on it, very, very small ones, mind you, little bitty things. They're not anything to snare at. Maybe 6 inches. The longest one might be a foot, and they're no wider than a straw. You wouldn't notice them driving past them unless you, like me, were driving under that thing just about every week. I don't know if they're still there. They were there back in 2011 still. I mean, when I was doing the Passion Play, they were back in, they were still there then. And I was going up there just about every night, so I'd, at least get a look at the bridge and see them. But you wouldn't notice them right away. But if you drove under it frequently, you would see them. They were kind of off in the corner. And this bridge had the date it was made kind of stamped on it. It was like 1929, 1949, something like that. It was less than 100 years. And these guys at these caves are telling us it takes like 1 million years to form even just an inch the size of a straw of these stalactites. Now, I know that's not the official measurement that the guys use today, and I don't think the park rangers really knew what they were talking about. But that was the one that they would always use for us. They would always talk about this particular measurement, an inch, to get 1 million years to get an inch the size of a straw. I knew that wasn't right. I knew that wasn't right, because I'd see these stalactites under this bridge. But the thing of it was, the kids would always just kind of nod and agree with it every time, and it drove me nuts when I was younger. I couldn't understand why all the kids would go, well, the guy said, I mean, it's obviously millions of years. I mean, most of them went along with it, never argued with the guy, never asked questions. It was just accepted. But they were all going to get groceries the same place I was, or at least most of them were, and I couldn't figure out why in the world they wouldn't admit that number was complete and total crud. They wouldn't admit that it was false. We saw the proof every day. And finally, I asked a kid at one point, and he just kind of looked at me and was like, well, he's in charge. That was what he said. The guy's in charge. He's the adult, And that was really my first experience with, I guess you could call it authority bias. That you would just kind of accept what somebody says simply because they're in charge and that's what they say. And so you just take that number at face value. Even if there is evidence that what the guy is saying is wrong right in front of you. Right stinking in front of you. And they would go, well, he's in charge. And I would point out the stalactites, and some of them would deny they were there in the first place, and other people would be like, yeah, but he's in charge. And so that's always been my aggravation with evolution in a nutshell. And I understand that the millions of years aspect and the stalactites things aren't technically evolution. That's not really my point. I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to extrapolate, that this authority bias bleeds into the theory of evolution as well. And the older I got, the more apparent that became. I grew up being that snarky kid that would argue with the science teachers after a while, and eventually I did get to the point where I associated the truth or falsehood of evolution with the truth or falsehood with the Bible, which I don't think is a good thing to do. I don't think we should ride our faith on the true or falsehoods of a particular scientific theory or the science of the day. I'm not saying you should ignore it. Don't ever be mindless of the evidence. But science is always changing. Facts are always changing. Little nuances are always changing for or against Christianity. And something that I want to point out over the next couple weeks, if I keep doing episodes on evolution or episodes on this social Darwinism, is there have been times where these guys have lied to kind of push their theory and make Christianity seem more false than it actually is. That is something that they do. And so when you're dealing in a climate that is so, a political climate, I should say, that is so isolated, fragmented, very entrenched, it's very important to be kind of cautious of believing everything you hear at face value. It's very helpful to give time. And I think that's one of the principles of faith, too. You know, sometimes we have to give God time to work and time to prove things one way or the other. Anyway, I'm going to stop it right there before my voice starts sounding any more like I'm going through puberty. So we're going to take our first break, guys. Don't go away. Thanks a lot. You ever wanted to start your own podcast or host your own show, but you don't know where to begin? Good news! Liberty Studios is opening its doors for you. Liberty Studios is now renting its space to eager people who have a message that they want to share with the world. So, if you have something to say but you aren't sure how to start saying it, let Liberty Studios help. For more information, call 417-342-9207. Again, that's 417-342-9207.
Are you struggling with business? Let BMOC guide you along your journey. The BMOC Group is made of specialists who have spent years helping large corporations improve their cultures and efficiency. Now they want to help you. Watch their show, Executive Exchange, on BMOC Group's YouTube channel, or go to www.bmocgroup.com. BMOC Group is a part of Liberty Studios.
So, you love politics, but you're not always sure where your ideas line up. Well, don't worry about it. Listen to Renegade Reason, where if your ideas don't match ours, you're not one of them. Renegade Reason isn't unbiased. It's very biased. We're just not always sure where that bias lines up. But if you think you can handle unfiltered opinions, then you're more than welcome. Visit Renegade Reason on YouTube. Renegade Reason. It's okay to have an original thought. Renegade Reason is a part of Liberty Studios.
Renegade Religion would like to take a moment to remind everyone that just believing in a God is not enough. James 2:19 says, "You believe that there is one God." Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder. We believe that Jesus is the Son of the one true God and died for our sins. We need to submit our lives to Christ alone and strive to be like Him at all times.
Do you find yourself asking, what did you say? Aaron Cristiano of Ranch Acres Audiology has over 25 years of experience helping patients just like you.
Hearing requires conservation. We need to be aware and we need to be responsible for our own hearing health.
Understand more with a little help from Ranch Acres Audiology. Call 918-749-7711. That's 918-749-7711 to learn more.
At RT Custom Cabinets, we believe in Colossians 3:23, which says, "Whatever you do, do it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not human masters." Here at RT Custom Cabinets, we're celebrating 20 years striving to do just that, and we would like to do the same for you. We're located at 13191 Betty Road, Gravette, Arkansas, or you can call us at 479-787-5173. Again, that's 479-787-5173. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Many illnesses are caused by stress. At Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services, we help relieve pressure and foster overall health. Want to know more? Call 918-955-9937 or go to aaareflexlife.com. Aware, alert, active Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services.
Hi there, I'm Jerry Varner, owner of Making Memories Tours. We're a Christian group tour operator that takes multiple trips across the U.S. and beyond. We do a variety of tours, including motorcoach, international, and cruises. Our passion is providing folks with a fun, safe, and secure experience so they can make memories that last a lifetime. We also custom build tours for churches, clubs, or banks. Call me at 888-845-9582 to find out how we can be your group tour specialist. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Our upcoming tours in the 2018 catalog include the National Quartet Convention, the Ark Encounter and Creation Museum, a trip to Israel with an optional tour to Jordan, not to mention over 20 additional tours that range from 3 to 24 days. We're so excited to be introducing a Tulsa pickup point for our 2018 schedule. For more information, call us at 888-845-9582 or check us out on the web at makingmemoriestours.com. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Hope to hear from you soon.
Well, sis, what do you think?
John, your home is beautiful. Hardwood floors, granite countertops, and that fireplace?
Do you like it? The reclaimed wood was my idea.
Your idea?
Yeah, old school construction customizes their homes. I also had them expand the pantry and the living room.
I've been looking for a new home, but I didn't just want another cookie-cutter house.
Sounds like Old School Construction can help.
Old School Construction. We build a place where life happens. For more information, call 918-809-2333 or visit us online at oldschoolconstruction.com. Again, that's 918-809-2333.
You're about to hear a revolution in talk radio.
George Orwell, 1984. He had that perfectly. He hit the nail right on the head. We watch television, that's reality. When in fact, everyone seems to be afraid to take the red pill. Everyone takes the blue pill, everything is fine. And I have friends who think this way. Drives me nuts. I can never bring up any subject whatsoever. We keep it on to, what kind of cookie you want, chocolate chip or coconut. And that's about the only conversation we can have.
This isn't your typical talk radio show. This is Liberty. Liberty Talk Radio.
Part of Liberty Studios. All right, and we're back, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. All right, so last segment I was getting a little bit off topic maybe. I was talking about how I really started out having this kind of natural hostility towards the evolutionary theory, and because I associated it with the whole idea that tectonic plates and stalactites and stalagmites took millions of years to form. I don't necessarily associate the truthhood of evolution with the truthhood of the Bible. I don't think it's like an either-or thing, and that's mostly because I did some studying in hermeneutics. But all that being said, I still find that evolution is kind of a ridiculous theory. Consequently, I might add, it turns out that they were wrong about the stalactite thing, and I believe they were wrong about the stalactite thing because the work, the ICR, the Institution of Creation Research, did a study. They did this incredible thing. It's really complicated. It's very difficult to understand, but I'm gonna try to explain it to you. It's called forming an experiment and watching it, actually observing stalactites. Apparently, in all of this theorized about how long it takes for these things to form, nobody had actually tried to replicate the formation of a stalactite. Well, the ICR actually did this, and what they found out was very interesting. Turns out it doesn't take a stalactite millions of years to form an inch or whatever. There's more specific numbers, and you can go to ICR.com if you want to find those specific numbers. I don't have them in front of me, but rather than it taking millions of years, you can actually get a good 6 inches of a stalactite or a stalagmite in a couple years, or something along those facts, and something along that nature. In fact, somebody from Carlsbad Caverns even claimed that he saw a stalactite form to grow 2 or 3 inches in just a few days, which is interesting. It really depends on the conditions, but what they did to find this out is they basically built a giant bathtub. And in this bathtub, they put seashells to replicate the exact molecules that the stalactites are made from. And then they added something else on top of that. And then on top of that, they added some foliage, some leaves, mulch, wood, things that would be in the forest on top of a cave. And then they added water, and they watched the results. And, they actually got some pretty good-sized stalactites. As far as compared to what they're talking about, 2 or 3 inches, maybe even as long as 6 inches, just by studying how long it took and watching this giant bathtub, if you will. And there's more information on it in YouTube and at ICR.com. And my point is this: sometimes you just can't take the scientist guy's word for it. You actually have to go and do homework, actually do experiments. There's a lot of built-in assumptions about this theory that's a problem. Something that bothers me, and this is kind of some in-house fighting in the Christian community, I guess, and that's really where I have been trying to get to, and and it's a little hard to articulate quickly, but the short version of this is my big complaint with how the Christian community has dealt with the evolution and intelligent design or creation debate is they've really kind of turned and ate each other. And when I say they, I mean the intelligent design guys and the creationist guys. What happened was the creationist guys have been really hostile to the intelligent design guys because the intelligent design guys haven't dug in their heels about evolution. And then the intelligent design guys have turned around and said, well, we don't like the creation guys because they're kind of nutty and they believe that the Bible is literal and da-da-da-da. And there's been this kind of, high school infighting. It's like the intelligent design guys went out of their way to distance themselves from the creationist guys because the evolutionists were like, well, these guys are nuts. They're on par with the flat earthers. And it was like high school in the sense that the ID guys turned on the creation guys and said, yeah, those people are crazy, to make themselves look better and make themselves look more official. It's kind of like everybody turning around and making fun of the nerds so they can kind of help their own rep. And that's the sense I've got from it. And I mean, I remember one particular instance, and I don't want to rag too hard on Eric Metastas because I like the guy. Little I've listened to him, I do like him. But I remember he interviewed Stephen Meyer at one point, and they actually began to bring up creationism and creationists. And Eric Metastas kind of laughed in his little hoity way and was like, oh yeah, we don't invite those people anymore. It's stupid stuff like that bothers me. And that's the sort of thing that, frankly, the evolutionist community wants. And now I am of the belief, personally, that if the intelligent design guys and the creationist guys got together and actually compared notes, then we might actually be able to come up with a really good, comparable theory that could actually legitimately compete with evolution, but we don't because everybody's got a bunch of great facts. Stephen Meyer's signature of the cell stuff is great. The ICR's work with stalactites is great. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there, but it's not been consolidated because everybody's in their clique, just like high school. And as long as we're divided like that, we're never going to really be able to show any sort of prominence in the culture and in society. And I think the best way to really bring this back, I should say, is each one has pros and cons. I love what the intelligent design guys, I love their work in terms of DNA research, Signature of the Cell. Stephen Meyer's book is great. I love their focus on information. I love a lot of what they've done because it really does fly in the face of Darwin's theory. Darwin assumed that cells were simple. DNA is kind of the antithesis of that, and it's inside the cells. So, they thought, David Berlinski said that they thought at one point that cells were kind of like a car, and we know now they're like a space station, and that kind of flies in the face of simple to complex and that whole notion. And so I like the work they've done over here, but I also, while I disagree with the creationists about their dates and how they got their dates and using the Bible as some sort of, I guess, scientific guide, while I disagree with that, I do think they have a much better grasp on what the nature of the fight actually is. That's the real thing that I think, this is where I think the intelligent design guys messed up, and I think it cost them very dearly. They tried to kind of play middle of the road and to make certain allowances for evolution. They tried to go along to get along. They accepted the dates that the evolutionists brought out. They accepted certain aspects of the theory. They accepted the 5 extinction events that the evolutionists claim in the fossil record. They made all these little conciliatory yields, I suppose, because it was kind of, they weren't perceived as important things to fight about. The age of the universe isn't really that important in terms of whether or not there's a God, and from certain aspects that is right. But what I think they forgot was that while from our point of view, from a theology, from a religious, from a philosophic point of view, it doesn't make a lot of difference. The whole reason that the evolutionists gravitate, or the atheists gravitate towards this age of the earth stuff, they gravitate towards all these different dates, as it were, is because they feel that it does undermine the Bible, even though they say it doesn't. Christopher Hitchens he was always the first, whenever he was doing his debates, he was always the first to say something along the lines of, well, I can't believe this, but if you want to, you can. If you believe that God was silent for hundreds of thousands of years, 200,000 years, or we'll be nice, we'll give you 100,000 years. God was silent for 96,000 years of that. And then suddenly, in the last 4,000 years, he reveals himself to man. But what about the 96,000 years of man's existence, where man looked up at the sky and was scared of volcanoes and scared of everything and wondered where God was, and God said nothing? And he would always pull that card out. And of course, the Christian, whoever he was debating, Dr. Craig, William Lane Craig or somebody else, would always give the typical answer to that. But it just goes to show that they do see these dates, this age of the earth stuff. The evolutionists do see this as something that undermines the Bible. Dawkins has said multiple times he doesn't believe that evolution and intelligent design or any form of belief in a God are compatible. He has mentioned that multiple times. And I don't think the intelligent design guys gave that enough credit. I think they understood it, but I don't think they really did anything about it. That is something the creationist guys understood very well, and that's why they've went out of their way to kind of do the antithesis of what the intelligent design guys did as well. So, on this note, I'm actually going to read a quick little interesting article from the ICR. It's about lunar water douses collision origin. Now, what this is referring to, and this will go into something else I'm going to do a little bit of a rant on about one of my other great complaints about evolution. I guess you could look at this particular episode, if you're wondering where I'm going with this, as kind of an introduction as to why I really want to even hound on this very much at all. Like I said, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's kind of a personal thing I've done a lot of studying on, but also I think there's a lot of truths that need to be understood about the evolution theory, but also about what we as Christians need to do because of it. So I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to go on my little tangent about it, and that should get us through till the next break, I believe. So here we go. So lunar water douses collision origin. And this is by Brian Thomas, by the way. So, new clues confirm that the moon looks created. In stark contrast to Genesis 1, secular scientists claim that a collision between a planet-sized rocky object and an ancient Earth somehow crafted the moon billions of years ago. This supposed collision was so violent and hot that it would have burned all of the original moon water, assuming that there was any. So why do researchers keep finding evidence of water inside the moon? Our moon covers the sun exactly when viewed from Earth's surface, as solar eclipses demonstrate. The moon also has a very circular orbit that supplies life-sustaining, ocean-churning tides on Earth. It's the perfect size and distance from the Earth to help support life. What are the odds that a violent collision would generate such precision? In 2008, discovery of small amounts of water in volcanic glass beads that Apollo missions recovered from the moon's surface largely washed away the evolutionary dogma of a totally dry moon. Later looks into lunar minerals confirmed the additional water, including evidences that water must have bathed the minerals that made up some of the moon's oldest rocks. Did the astronauts serendipitously collect rare water indicating glassy rocks, or do other rocks all over the moon also indicate watery origins? To find out, researchers led by Ralph Millikan, Brown University geologist and expert in reflectance spectropsy, I don't even know how to pronounce that, used clever tactics to focus on just the water, signifying portion of the spectroscopic data from the moon's volcanic rocks. The moon's mineralogy mapper spectrometer, mounted on India's Chandrayaan-1 lunar orbit, captured the data. The other published their results in the journal Nature Geoscience. Milken told Brown University, by looking at the orbital data, we can examine the large pyroclastic deposits on the moon that were never sampled by the Apollo or Luna missions. The fact that nearly all of them exhibit signature water suggests that the Apollo samples are not anomalous. So it may be that the bulk interior of the moon is wet. Not just spots, but the bulk of the moon's interior is wet. This new evidence forces defenders of the water vaporizing collision hypothesis to go back to the drawing board. Secularists now face the near impossible task of explaining how water somehow got into the moon's interior after the crust and into the moon's mantle would have collided with enough violence to vaporize its own watery payload. Secular moon origins now face dire straits. For those of you who don't know what this is really attacking, basically, there is a problem in the evolutionary theory. They speculate that the Earth is approximately 4 billion years old, but the moon, if you apply the inverse square law to the moon's orbit, because we understand that the moon is moving away from the Earth, not much, but a few inches every year. If you apply the inverse square law to that and assume some kind of uniformitarianism idea that the moon's been moving closer and closer to the Earth for so long, what you come to is in about 1.4 billion years, the moon is actually touching the surface of the Earth. So, to counter this, these evolutionary theorists have been like, well, here's an idea. Maybe there was some giant planet-sized asteroid that collided with the Earth, completely destroyed the real estate, and somehow it kind of fused together and made a perfect circle, and that's been rotating around the Earth for a little shorter than the Earth's existence itself. And that's basically their gist of it. Now, bear in mind, they have no proof of this theory whatsoever, except that they need some sort of scenario like this in order to support the idea, or to continue to support the idea of 4 billion years old. And personally, I don't know why they care so much. It's not like 1.4 billion years old still doesn't destroy the 6,000 year narrative. But they are so desperate to keep these dates as long as possible because, again, the problem with evolution is it's got a probability issue. How much time does it actually take to get from a single cell, assuming that you can actually get that thing in the first place, to life as we know it? 1.4 billion years from a probability standpoint isn't enough time. So they need as much time as they can possibly give the Earth to make the theory seem plausible. So they've kind of made this up, and this little theory, this little article is actually debunking that. Again, not that they had any proof to begin with, but it's just one more thing to kind of show that the theory doesn't have a lot of standing, and that there's a lot of... I don't mean to make it sound like, ha ha ha, they're wrong. But what I'm trying to say, or the point I'm trying to indicate, is that there's a lot of funny assumptions going on in the evolutionary theory that make it a problem. And another example might be the magnetic field. You know, we realize that the magnetic field can only get so strong before it's literally sucking the iron out of your blood and killing you. So that puts a time limit on the Earth. So to counter that, they make up theories about how the Earth's gravitational field is fluctuating. They did the same thing with Uranus and Neptune. Jupiter's magnetic field would be much weaker if the Earth was billions of years old, or the universe was billions of years old, and it's not, so there are these fluctuations. And there's no individual evidence for this other than the fact that if they didn't have it, their theory would be, if they didn't have these kinds of weird scenarios to kind of pull out of their hindquarters, then the theory would obviously the dates would be wrong, is what I'm trying to say. If they didn't have these theories, the dates would be wrong, and it would kind of undermine their whole evolutionary narrative. And that, while it doesn't necessarily threaten Christianity, in my opinion, does threaten the nature of science itself. You can't sit there and just make theories up simply so you can keep a previous theory alive. That is not good science. And while I disagree with the ICR guys on their hermeneutical interpretation of Scripture, I do like that they're doing scientific studies like this, or they're citing scientific studies like this and making connections, because it's actual, real science. It's not making up theories to compensate for a previous theory. It's real science that is telling us a little bit more about the Earth. With that being said, we're going to take another break, and I will be right back. Do not go away. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast or host your own show, but you don't know where to begin? Good news! Liberty Studios is opening its doors for you. Liberty Studios is now renting its space to eager people who have a message that they want to share with the world. So, if you have something to say but you aren't sure how to start saying it, let Liberty Studios help. For more information, call 417-342-9207. Again, that's 417-342-9207.
Are you struggling with business? Let BMOC guide you along your journey. The BMOC Group is made of specialists who have spent years helping large corporations improve their cultures and efficiency. Now they want to help you. Watch their show, Executive Exchange, on BMOC Group's YouTube channel, or go to www.bmocgroup.com. BMOC Group is a part of Liberty Studios.
So, you love politics, but you're not always sure where your ideas line up. Well, don't worry about it. Listen to Renegade Reason, where if your ideas don't match ours, you're not one of them. Renegade Reason isn't unbiased. It's very biased. We're just not always sure where that bias lines up. But if you think you can handle unfiltered opinions, then you're more than welcome. Visit Renegade Reason on YouTube. Renegade Reason. It's okay to have an original thought. Renegade Reason is a part of Liberty Studios.
Renegade Religion would like to take a moment to remind everyone that just believing in a God is not enough. James 2:19 says, "You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder." We believe that Jesus is the Son of the one true God and died for our sins. We need to submit our lives to Christ alone and strive to be like Him at all times.
Do you find yourself asking, what did you say? Aaron Cristiano of Ranch Acres Audiology has over 25 years of experience helping patients just like you.
Hearing requires conservation. We need to be aware and we need to be responsible for our own hearing health.
Understand more with a little help from Ranch Acres Audiology. Call 918-749-7711. That's 918-749-7711 to learn more.
At Our Key Custom Cabinets, we believe in Colossians 3:23, which says, whatever you do, do it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not human masters. Here at Our Key Custom Cabinets, we're celebrating 20 years striving to do just that, and we would like to do the same for you. We're located at 13191 Betty Road, Gravette, Arkansas, or you can call us at 479-787-5173. Again, that's 479-787-5173. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Many illnesses are caused by stress. At Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services, we help relieve pressure and foster overall health. Want to know more? Call 918-955-9937 or go to aaareflexlife.com. Aware, alert, active, Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services.
Hi there, I'm Jerry Varner, owner of Making Memories Tours. We're a Christian group tour operator that takes multiple trips across the U.S. and beyond. We do a variety of tours, including motor coach, international, and cruises. Our passion is providing folks with a fun, safe, and secure experience so they can make memories that last a lifetime. We also custom build tours for churches, clubs, or banks. Call me at 888-845-9582 to find out how we can be your group tour specialist. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Our upcoming tours in the 2018 catalog include the National Quartet Convention, the Ark Encounter and Creation Museum, a trip to Israel with an optional tour to Jordan, not to mention over 20 additional tours that range from 3 to 24 days. We're so excited to be introducing a Tulsa pickup point for our 2018 schedule. For more information, call us at 888-845-9582 or check us out on the web at makingmemoriestours.com. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Hope to hear from you soon.
Well, sis, what do you think?
John, your home is beautiful. Hardwood floors, granite countertops, and that fireplace?
Do you like it? The reclaimed wood was my idea.
Your idea?
Yeah, Old School Construction customizes their homes. I also had them expand the pantry and the living room.
I've been looking for a new home, but I didn't just want another cookie-cutter house.
Sounds like Old School Construction can help.
Old School Construction. We build the place where life happens. For more information, call 918-809-2333 or visit us online at oldschoolconstruction.com. Again, that's 918-809-2333.
You're about to hear a revolution in talk radio.
George Orwell, 1984. He had that perfectly. He hit the nail right on the head. We watch television, that's reality. When in fact, everyone seems to be afraid to take the red pill. Everyone takes the blue pill, everything is fine. And I have friends who think this way. Drives me nuts. I can never bring up any subject whatsoever. We keep it on to, what kind of cookie you want, chocolate chip or coconut. And that's about the only conversation we can have.
This isn't your typical talk radio show. This is Liberty. Liberty Talk Radio.
Part of Liberty Studios. All right, and we're back. So we were talking about evolution and kind of my personal pet peeve with it, and we need to bring it back to social Darwinism a little bit. This is another aspect of it. Like I said last week, I don't enjoy the analogy or the idea, I guess, that basically you can just flat out blame an ideology or a belief system for a certain set of behaviors. I always think it's never more than just one thing, and it's very seldom that complicated or that simple. I do think, however, that certain people will determine what they believe based on how they want to behave. It's not just a matter of what you believe determines how you behave, it's what you want to do will determine what you decide to believe many times. And I think evolution is a perfect example of that. Let's see, if I can remember the full title of Charles Darwin's original book, it was The Origin of Species. The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or The Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. Now, you'll hear some people make the criticism that races and species were like an interchangeable term, but I kind of doubt, given Darwin's next book, The Descent of Man, that he was really talking about animals when he used the word races, or just animals when he used the word races. Now, like we said before, or like we said last week, countries like Germany and Japan snatched the book up well before, they snatched the book up because they understood immediately what Darwin was implying. You got to remember, this was, when the book came out, it was 1859. There was a little bit of a political situation going on in the States, and the thing is, the Civil War was not a microcosm just in the United States. Britain was very worried about it, for example, and Britain gave serious thought to actually joining the South to, keep the slave trade up and running, because the majority of their cotton came from the South during that time. And Seward, I think, was it John Seward, who I think was Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State, he actually went over there, and somehow, I have no idea what he said or how he did it, but somehow he sweetened the deal with Britain and was able to keep them out of the war. And had Britain actually joined the South, which I think was what the South was banking on, the South would have actually won. Some people speculate that they would have won. And so it's not like this whole issue of race equality was just happening in the United States. It was hard fought all over the globe, and Darwin kind of came out of that. It's interesting when you actually try to do some research on Darwin's history. Everybody calls him a naturalist, or they basically try to equivocate him with a scientist. But really, he really wasn't. He was kind of going to these Christian seminary schools, more or less. I don't remember the exact details, but it's hard to find the details out. It's the reason why. And he was actually studying to be a preacher, more or less. He didn't come out of the scientific training. He was studying things through, a particular worldview. And I'm not going to say that Darwin definitely wrote this with slavery in mind. I hesitate to go that far, but there is this very cynical part of me that kind of suspects that might have actually been the case. I'm currently doing research to try to confirm that one way or the other, but I haven't found anything yet. But it's hard to imagine him not thinking about it from that angle. Everybody else was. If you read the Frederick Douglass debates, and they talk about how evolution was applied to the rhetoric in the country. I mean, the slaves, they used it to basically apply it to slaves. They wanted to believe that the African American community was not as well evolved as the white community, and that was the rhetoric they used, and in those debates it's very prevalent. So it's hard. I don't like to apply the idea that what you believe determines how you behave as in like a general principle, but part of me does believe that the reason evolution took off was because they were trying to find an excuse, more or less, to justify these behaviors. A lot of people claim, Kent Hovind specifically, claim that, really evolution was not spread by the scientists. When the theory first came out, it was laughed out of the scientific community, but it was actually the churches in the South. And then you had apologists like Ernest Hegel in Germany. It wasn't just Darwin who actually proposed it and made it a part of the established scientific community. It was actually religious people and people with ideologies and axe to grind. You got to remember, the big thing going on at the time was the abolitionist movement. The idea that because God made everybody was equal inherently. And so I think that is a very big, important part to play. And that also, the reason that's also important is it kind of explains a little bit why they were so eager to fudge their data, to change certain things, to make the theory fit, because there were political considerations to be had. And I think that's taken evolution in a direction that's made it impractical in terms of finding anything out scientifically. And I guess I'm saying all of this, again, this goes back to the authority bias that I opened with the show with. The reason I am bringing all of this up is because it is important to understand that you cannot just accept something because an authority tells you it's true. You have to ask why that authority is saying that in the first place. The thing is the park ranger, whenever he was down there in Silver Dollar City, he probably was just some stinking teenager that was just repeating what he was told. And when he was actually challenged, he didn't have any of the answers. And really, he didn't care for the answers. He was just doing a job. But when you're 6 years old, you don't know that. You just assume the guy's true. The guy's telling the truth. And I was a little young. I was probably older than 6. But, you assume the guy at that age is telling the truth because why would he lie? You don't think about the fact that he's just doing a job and trying to get home. And there's other reasons to be had as well. So whenever people are talking about we should just accept this because this is what the scientific community says, or this is what some professional with 3 letters behind his name says, that's not enough. We have to ask why somebody like that would be saying that sort of thing in the first place. We're already up against another break. This hour is actually flying. So hopefully you can stand my cracky hoarse voice for another segment. We'll be right back. Wanted to start your own podcast or host your own show, but you don't know where to begin? Good news! Liberty Studios is opening its doors for you. Liberty Studios is now renting its space to eager people who have a message that they want to share with the world. So, if you have something to say but you aren't sure how to start saying it, let Liberty Studios help. For more information, call 417-342-9207. Again, that's 417-342-9207.
Are you struggling with business? Let BMOC guide you along your journey. The BMOC Group is made of specialists who have spent years helping large corporations improve their cultures and efficiency. Now they want to help you. Watch their show, Executive Exchange, on BMOC Group's YouTube channel, or go to www.bmocgroup.com. BMOC Group is a part of Liberty Studios.
So, you love politics, but you're not always sure where your ideas line up. Well, don't worry about it. Listen to Renegade Reason, where if your ideas don't match ours, you're not one of them. Renegade Reason isn't unbiased. It's very biased. We're just not always sure where that bias lines up. But if you think you can handle unfiltered opinions, then you're more than welcome. Visit Renegade Reason on YouTube. Renegade Reason. It's okay to have an original thought. Renegade Reason is a part of Liberty Studios.
Renegade Religion would like to take a moment to remind everyone that just believing in a God is not enough. James 2:19 says, "You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder." We believe that Jesus is the Son of the one true God and died for our sins. We need to submit our lives to Christ alone and strive to be like Him at all times.
Do you find yourself asking, what did you say? Aaron Cristiano of Ranch Acres Audiology has over 25 years of experience helping patients just like you.
Hearing requires conservation. We need to be aware and we need to be responsible for our own hearing health.
Understand more with a little help from Ranch Acres Audiology. Call 918-749-7711. That's 918-749-7711 to learn more.
At Our Key Custom Cabinets, we believe in Colossians 3:23, which says, whatever you do, do it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not human masters. Here at Our Key Custom Cabinets, we're celebrating 20 years striving to do just that, and we would like to do the same for you. We're located at 13191 Betty Road, Gravette, Arkansas, or you can call us at 479-787-5173. Again, that's 479-787-5173. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Many illnesses are caused by stress. At Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services, we help relieve pressure and foster overall health. Want to know more? Call 918-955-9937 or go to aaareflexlife.com. Aware, alert, active, Reflexology Holistic Treatment Services.
Hi there, I'm Jerry Varner, owner of Making Memories Tours. We're a Christian group tour operator that takes multiple trips across the U.S. and beyond. We do a variety of tours, including motor coach, international, and cruises. Our passion is providing folks with a fun, safe, and secure experience so they can make memories that last a lifetime. We also custom build tours for churches, clubs, or banks. Call me at 888-845-9582 to find out how we can be your group tour specialist. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Our upcoming tours in the 2018 catalog include the National Quartet Convention, the Ark Encounter and Creation Museum, a trip to Israel with an optional tour to Jordan, not to mention over 20 additional tours that range from 3 to 24 days. We're so excited to be introducing a Tulsa pickup point for our 2018 schedule. For more information, call us at 888-845-9582 or check us out on the web at makingmemoriestours.com. Again, that's 888-845-9582. Hope to hear from you soon.
Well, sis, what do you think?
John, your home is beautiful. Hardwood floors, granite countertops, and that fireplace?
Do you like it? The reclaimed wood was my idea.
Your idea?
Yeah, Old School Construction customizes their homes. I also had them expand the pantry and the living room.
I've been looking for a new home, but I didn't just want another cookie-cutter house.
Sounds like Old School Construction can help.
Old School Construction. We build a place where life happens. For more information, call 918-809-2333 or visit us online at oldschoolconstruction.com. Again, that's 918-809-2333.
You're about to hear a revolution in talk radio.
George Orwell, 1984. He had that perfectly. He hit the nail right on the head. We watch television, that's reality. When in fact, everyone seems to be afraid to take the red pill. Everyone takes the blue pill, everything is fine. And I have friends who think this way. Drives me nuts. I can never bring up any subject whatsoever. We keep it on to, what kind of cookie you want, chocolate chip or coconut. And that's about the only conversation we can have.
This isn't your typical talk radio show. This is Liberty. Liberty Talk Radio.
Part of Liberty Studios. All right, we're back. Last segment. This hour has flown by. So, we always try to end our last segment with something positive. So, here is another article from CBN News for your enjoyment. Let's try to end on something good. So, Florida megachurch disaster team returns from Houston to help its own after Irma. When Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, Northland Church in Longwood, Florida, sent a disaster relief team to help. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the church sent a dozen trained volunteers, $50,000 in donations collected by the congregation, and thousands of dollars worth of equipment to Texas to help people affected by the storm. Little did they know they would turn around less than a week later to aid in the aftermath of Irma at home. In a message on its website, the church said, now that the storm has passed, its effects on the lives of our community has not passed. This week, we opened the rink to be a shelter, fed more than 1,000 people in the foyer, helped several other churches with their weekend worship plans, and dispatched numerous teams out in the community to clear trees and debris in our neighborhood. But our work has just begun. Doug Warr, a member of the church disaster response team, told the Sentinel, I feel it's a calling. You have to trust that God is going to provide when you go to help people in need, he said. Longwood is currently serving as a shelter housing more than 100 people affected by the storm. Volunteers are also helping homeowners make repairs and assisting evacuees with special needs. The church is hosting a special Hurricane Irma Serve Day, Saturday, September 16th. So, again, the article is on CBN News. I can encourage you guys to help, donate whatever you can to help with the storms. This is an example of something good. People actually trying to help other people. People that are constantly serving in spite of their own needs. So, with that, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you again next week, God willing. Thanks a lot. Peace.